Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
My lords, there were 4 barons in the court of King Mark. These barons were very bad men, and they hated Tristan very much. They hated him because he was great and because the king loved him dearly. I know their names: Anret, Genelin, Gondolin, and Denolin. The barons knew that King Mark did not want to have children. He wanted to give his land to Tristan when he was old. The barons were jealous, and they told lies to make the other important men in Cornwall angry with Tristan. They said, "There are too many strange things in this man's life. It was strange enough that he beat Morholt. But how did he cross the sea alone when he was almost dead? Which one of us, my lords, could travel the sea without a sail or a mast? People say that only wizards can do that. This man must be a wizard, and his harp, it is also magic, poisons the king's heart. See how he has changed the king's heart with his magic. He will be king soon, my lords, and you will work for a wizard." They turned many of the barons against Tristan. These barons told King Mark that he must marry a king's daughter and have a child, or else they would all go back to their homes and fight him. But the king said no to them and promised in his heart that as long as his dear nephew Tristan was alive, no king's daughter would marry him. Tristan was angry that people thought he served the king only for money. So he told the king that if he did not listen to the barons, Tristan would leave and work for another king across the sea. Hearing this, King Mark made a deal with his barons. He gave them 40 days to wait for his decision. On the day he had to decide, King Mark was alone in his room and felt sad. He thought, "Where can I find a king's daughter so beautiful but also so far away that I can pretend to want her as my wife?" Just then, 2 swallows flew by his window. The birds were fighting with each other. Then, surprised, they flew away. But they dropped something from their beaks. It was a woman's hair. The hair was long, thin, and shining like light. King Mark picked up the hair and called his barons and Tristan. He said, "To make you happy, lords, I will take a wife. But you must go find the woman I have chosen." "Good Lord, we all want that," they said. "And who is she?" "Why," he said, "the woman whose hair this is. I will not take any other." "And where, Lord King, does this golden hair come from? Who brought it, and from which land?" "It comes, my lords, from the lady with the golden hair. The swallows brought it to me. They know where it came from." Then the barons realized they were being tricked. They were very angry, and they looked at Tristan with sneers. They thought Tristan had told the king to make this trick. But Tristan, when he saw the golden hair, remembered Iseult the Fair. He smiled and said, "King Mark, can't you see that these lords make me feel ashamed? Your plan did not work. I will go find the lady with the golden hair. The search is dangerous, but, my uncle, I will risk my body and my life for you again. And to show your barons that I love you truly, I promise to die in this adventure or bring the queen with the golden hair back to this castle of Tintagel." He prepared a big ship. He filled it with corn, wine, honey, and many other good things. He chose Gorvenal and 100 young, brave knights from noble families. He dressed them in simple clothes that looked like the clothes of merchants. but under the deck he hid fine cloth of gold and red, as if they were messengers from a great king. When the ship was at sea, the helmsman asked Tristan, "Lord, where should I sail?" "Sir," said Tristan, "sail to Ireland, directly to Whitehaven harbor." At first, Tristan pretended that his friends were merchants from England who had come peacefully to trade. But the people of Whitehaven noticed something strange. These merchants spent their time playing games like checkers and chess. They seemed to know more about playing dice than the price of corn. Tristan was afraid they would be discovered, and he did not know how to continue his search. One morning, at the break of day, Tristan heard a terrible cry. It was so horrible, it sounded like it came from a demon. He had never heard any creature scream like that. It was awful and strange. He saw a woman passing by the harbor and called to her, "Tell me, lady, where does that sound come from? Don't hide anything from me." "My lord," she said, "I will tell you the truth. The sound comes from a dragon, the most terrible and fearless dragon on earth. Every day, it leaves its den and stands at one of the city gates. No one can come in or go out until a young girl is given to the dragon. When the dragon has her in its claws, it eats her." "Lady," said Tristan, "do not make fun of me. Tell me truly, can a man kill this dragon?" "Good sir," she replied, "I do not know, but I can tell you this. 20 brave knights have tried to kill the dragon. The King of Ireland has promised to give his daughter, Iseult the Fair, to the man who kills the beast. But the dragon has eaten all the knights who tried." Tristan left the woman, went back to his ship, and secretly put on his armor. It was a fine sight to see such a noble knight on a good horse come out of a merchant ship. But the harbor was empty because the sun was barely up, and no one saw him as he rode toward the city gate. Soon after he passed the gate, 5 men came galloping toward him at full speed, trying to escape. Tristan grabbed one man by his hair as he rode by, pulled him off his horse, and held him tight. "God save you, my lord," said Tristan. "Where does the dragon come from?" The man showed him the road, and Tristan let him go. When the monster appeared, it had the head of a bear with red eyes that looked like burning coals. It had hairy ears, the claws of a lion, the tail of a serpent, and the body of a griffin. Tristan charged at the dragon with his horse, striking it so hard that even though the beast was scared, Tristan's lance broke against its scales. Then Tristan drew his sword and hit the dragon's head, but he could not even cut through the skin. The dragon felt the blow and grabbed Tristan's shield with its claws, tearing it from his arm. Now, with his chest unprotected, Tristan used his sword again and struck with all his strength. The sound of the strike echoed all around, but it was useless. He could not hurt the dragon. Meanwhile, the dragon breathed out 2 streams of horrible fire from its nostrils. Tristan's helmet turned black like coal, and his horse stumbled, fell down, and died. Tristan, standing on his feet, thrust his sword deep into the dragon's jaws and split its heart in 2. Then Tristan cut out the dragon's tongue and put it into his boot. But the poison from the tongue touched his skin, and he fainted and fell in the tall grass near the swamp. Now, the man Tristan had stopped earlier was the Seneschal of Ireland, and he wanted to marry Iseult the Fair. Although he was a coward, he dared to return with his friends. When he found the dragon dead, he cut off its head and brought it to the king, claiming the reward. The king could hardly believe that the seneschal had killed the dragon, but he wanted to be fair. He called all his vassals to court so the seneschal could prove he had won the fight. When Iseult the Fair heard that she had to marry this coward, she laughed for a long time and then cried. The next morning, thinking there might be some trick, she took her servant Perines and her maid Brangian and rode secretly to the dragon's lair. On the road, Iseult saw some strange tracks. The horses that made the tracks had never been shod in Ireland. Then she came upon the dragon's body, without its head, and a dead horse lying beside it. The horse was not from Ireland either. A foreign man had killed the dragon, but they did not know if he was still alive. Iseult, Perines, and Brangian looked for Tristan for a long time. Finally, Brangian saw Tristan's helmet shining in the grass. Tristan was still breathing. Perines put Tristan on his horse and took him to the women's rooms in secret. Iseult told her mother what had happened and left Tristan with her. When the queen took off Tristan's armor, the dragon's tongue fell from his boot. The Queen of Ireland brought him back to life with a special herb and said, "Stranger, I know you are the real slayer of the dragon, but our seneschal, a wicked man, cut off the dragon's head and says my daughter Iseult should be his reward. Will you be ready in 2 days to challenge him in a fight?" "Queen," said Tristan, 2 days is not much time, but I believe you can heal me in time. I conquered Iseult by killing the dragon, and maybe I can win her again by defeating the seneschal." The queen made strong drinks to heal him, and the next day, Iseult prepared a bath for him and rubbed him with a balm that her mother made. As Tristan looked at her, he thought, "I have found the queen with the hair of gold," and he smiled. But Iseult noticed his smile and thought, "Why is he smiling? Did I forget something that I should do for him? He is smiling because I forgot to polish his armor." She went to his sword and took it out of its case. When she saw the broken piece of the blade and the gap in its edge, she remembered the Morholt's head. She stood still, unsure what to do. Then she went to the piece of steel that she had kept from the Morholt's skull. She placed it next to the sword, and it fit perfectly. The break in the blade could barely be seen. Iseult ran to where Tristan was lying, holding the sword over him. She cried out, "You are Tristan of Lyonesse. You killed the Morholt, my mother's brother, and now you will die for it." Tristan tried to defend himself, but he was too weak. However, he kept calm and said, "So be it. Let me die. But first listen to me and then decide. Princess, my life is in your hands, and you have the right to take it. My life belongs to you because you have saved it twice. Once, long ago, when I was the harp player you healed from the Morholt's poison wound. Don't regret that. Weren't my wounds from a fair fight? I didn't kill the Morholt by treason. He challenged me and I had to defend myself. Now, for the second time, you have saved me again. I fought the dragon for you. But let's leave all that behind. I only want to show you how my life is truly yours. If you kill me now, You will remember for the rest of your life that you killed a wounded guest who risked his life for you." Iseult replied, "Your words are strange. Why would the man who killed the Morholt want to find me, his niece? Is it because the Morholt came to Cornwall to take maidens? Did you come here to take me, his niece, back to Cornwall as a slave?" "Princess," said Tristan, "no. One day, 2 swallows flew to Tintagel and carried one of your golden hairs. I thought they brought me a message of goodwill and peace, so I crossed the sea to find you. Look at my coat. Your hair is sewn into the threads of gold. The threads have faded, but your bright hair still shines." Iseult put down the sword. She took the coat and saw the golden hair on it. She stood silently for a long time, then kissed him on the lips as a sign of peace. She covered him with fine clothes. On the day of the barons' meeting, Tristan sent Pyrenees secretly to the ship to call his companions. He wanted them to come to the court dressed like the messengers of a great king. One by one, 100 knights came into the hall where the barons of Ireland stood. They entered quietly and sat together. Their scarlet and purple clothes shone with gems. When the king sat on his throne, the seneschal stood up to say that he had killed the dragon and that Iseult was now his prize. But Iseult bowed to her father and said, "Father, I have a man who will prove that your seneschal is a liar and a coward. Promise that you will forgive this man for any past actions, and let him prove that he, not the seneschal, killed the dragon." The king said, "I promise." But Iseult said, "Father, first give me a kiss of peace and forgiveness as a sign that you will give him the same." Then Iseult found Tristan and brought him before the barons. As he entered, all 100 knights stood together, crossed their arms over their chests, and bowed. The Irish people knew then that Tristan was their lord. Many of the Irish recognized Tristan and shouted, "It is Tristan of Lyonesse who killed the Morholt." They drew their swords, demanding his death. But Iseult shouted, "Father, kiss this man on the lips, as you promised." The king kissed him, and the crowd became quiet. Then Tristan showed the dragon's tongue and challenged the seneschal to a fight. But the seneschal saw Tristan's face and was too afraid to fight. Tristan said, "My lords, what you said is true. I killed the Morholt, but I came here to offer a fair price for that deed and to make peace. I risked my life and killed the dragon, and now I have won Iseult the Fair. I will take her away on my ship. But so that Cornwall and Ireland may no longer be enemies but friends. Know this, King Mark, my lord, will marry Iseult. Here are 100 noble knights who will swear on holy relics that King Mark sends them as his messengers, offering peace, friendship, and love. He wishes to marry Iseult and will honor her as his queen." When the lords of Ireland heard this, they all agreed, and the king was happy too. Then, because the treaty was to be made, the king took Iseult by the hand and asked Tristan to swear that he would take her safely to his lord. Tristan swore this before all the knights and barons of Ireland. Then the king placed Iseult's hand in Tristan's hand, and Tristan held it for a moment, showing that she now belonged to the king of Cornwall. And so, for the love of King Mark, Tristan won the queen with the hair of gold.